my name is Maeve Herbert, and today I am going to be teaching you how to properly wax a surfboard. Captain James Cook, a British naval captain whose voyages provided the first accurate map of the Pacific, was the first person to describe surfing in 1778 when he saw a surfer whom he portrayed as being someone who had the most supreme pleasure while he was driven so fast and smoothly by the seas. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to properly take care of your surfboard. Surfing has a lot of health benefits, including building your cardiovascular and back strength due to the paddling that you have to do, as well as core and leg strength from standing, and it is also a great stress reliever. I learned how to surf from my stepdad when I was 12 years old, and he always emphasized the importance of being able to properly clean and re-wax your board so that you always have a nice coat of wax on it. And after years of experience, I consider this to be one of the most important aspects of surfing, so that you have a good grip on your board at all times. Today, I will be teaching you how to properly apply your base coat of wax, how to properly apply your top coat of wax, and how to properly clean your surfboard. For this, you're going to need a wax base coat, a wax top coat. A wax comb is optional, but you will need some acetone. There are several techniques that you can use when applying your base coat of wax. One would be a circular motion where you just take your top coat of wax and go in circles all across your board. Another would be to go in parallel lines across your surfboard. Another would be to do crisscross. You go one way and then you go another, or you can do a combination of all three. The most important thing to keep in mind is the texture that you get on your board after applying your base coat. You want a very grainy, thick, bumpy texture so that your top coat of wax doesn't rub off while you're surfing. Base coats are made from a harder wax, which when applied properly will give you a longer lasting grip on your board. This is due to the fact that the top coat of wax alone tends to rub off as a result of friction while surfing. Since the base coat tends to be very hard, you want to make sure you put enough pressure on your board while you're applying the coat so that you get a good amount onto your board. From Mick Fanning and Julian Wilson to Michael Burrow, Red Bull Surfing Team is made up of some of the best surfers in the game. And the company agrees that a base coat top coat combo gives an exact grip. The base coat holds the top coat in place and keeps the top coat from rubbing off. Go for a single swipe, and after a few waves, you'll soon notice wax-free areas on your deck. My family and I, a couple years ago, went on a surfing trip to Costa Rica, and my brother was so anxious to get into the water that he didn't apply a base coat of wax. He only applied his top coat. After surfing for a little while, a lot of it rubbed off, and he ended up catching an 11-foot wave, which resulted in the board falling out from his feet, and the rope that attached the board to his ankle snapped in half, and he was unable to surf for the rest of the day. Almost as important as your base coat of wax is how to properly apply your top coat of wax. The technique that you use can vary. You can use any one of the three techniques that we went over for the base coat. It's all up to preference. I prefer using parallel lines in a different color from my base coat, such as this, so that I can see what the areas that I have and have not already applied wax. Top coat tends to be much softer than the base coat wax, and this allows it to be tacky and stick to your feet. However, top coat waxes tend to be very sensitive to temperature, so buying proper wax is key. You want to buy a wax that is accurate for the temperature of the water that you will be surfing in. A lot of the wax labels come with a spectrum of what type of water they are good for. For example, this one's good for cool water. But a good rule of thumb is that you want to use softer wax for colder water and harder wax for warmer water. According to Wikipedia, wax used in water colder than its temperature rating will become hard and not provide the stickiness needed to stay on the board, while wax used in a warmer water than its temperature rating may melt. After the trip to Costa Rica, my family and I went on another surfing trip to California, and I just bought whatever leftover wax I had from that previous trip. not realizing the importance of the temperature change that it will have on my wax. Since the water in California was much colder than the water in Costa Rica, my wax became very hard and I had absolutely no grip on my board, so it became impossible for me to surf until I applied new wax. Beyond the application of your base coat and top coat of wax, properly cleaning your surfboard is the most essential part to surfing. There are several techniques that you can use in order to take the old, dirty wax off of your surfboard. And some of the materials are very simple. You can use just the sun, you can use the wax comb, and then acetone to take leftover wax off. The most common thing to do is to leave your surfboard in the sun and allow the wax to melt off, but not for too long because it will ruin boards like this that are made out of fiberglass. Or you can use the curved end of your wax comb to just scrape the wax off, and then whatever remaining wax is left on, just rub it off with acetone. The wax on your surfboard is constantly being rubbed or melted off while surfing, so cleaning and re-waxing your board regularly is very important. Fresh wax will give you a much better grip than old used wax. Derek Riley, a surf journalist, said that the condition of your board can be the difference between a make and a fail. He can't think of anything more embarrassing than having your surfboard fly out from under your feet, especially when you're in situations like surfing around a lot of other people who are more experienced than you. It's just really embarrassing. And you should make it a rule to try to clean your surfboard at least once a month. I have always been extremely anal about keeping my surfboard very clean, and I'm convinced that this has given me the ability to learn how to surf much quicker than I would have if I would have neglected cleaning the surfboard, the old wax off my surfboard regularly. Now that I have showed you how to take care of your surfboard, you will find that it can be a very enjoyable part of surfing, especially if you have down the basics. Do not forget the importance of the base coat, the top coat, and regularly cleaning your board. It's almost a rule, a law of surfing, that the best surfers have the best wax jobs. You might see a lot of surfers with big globs of wax on their board, but if you go to a competition at the professional level, you will always see professionally cleaned and waxed boards.
Do you stop the time?
No.
Yes, we all have questions.
Questions?
Do you want the entire board to be covered with wax?
It depends on the size of the board. Normally, bigger boards, this is a skim board, but normally normal sized boards have a little padding at the end, so you obviously don't need to wax that. And then you just want to make sure you can get the area of where your body is and where your feet will stand. And if you want, some surfers like to put it where they hold the board when they stand so that their hands don't slip off while they're trying to stand up on their board.
Okay.
Yes.
Who's your favorite surfer?
That would have to be Bethany Hamilton, the girl that got her arm bit off by a shark, because of her courage and dedication to the sport. It's just really inspiring. Yes.
What's your favorite place to go surfing at?
My favorite place was Costa Rica. The waves were really good and the water was really nice and warm. California was a lot of fun, but the water was just a little too cold for me. Yes.
What's your favorite brand of wax to use?
This top coat of wax is pretty much just a generic one. I've never used it, but I usually use a type of wax called Sex Wax, and that's really, really good.
Okay.
And then for base coat, Sex Wax also makes base coats, but Sticky Bums is actually a really good brand too. Yes.
What's the best wax to use in Florida waters?
So in Florida waters, you want to use a wax that's good for warmer water. So, it'll say on the thing, but usually a harder wax so it doesn't melt off is good. Yes.
When you apply the base and the top coat, do you want the board to be dry or can you do it when it's wet?
No, you want the board to be completely dry. If you let it sit out in the sun, like if you're on the beach or something and you just cleaned off your board, just let it sit out in the sun for a couple of minutes and it'll dry right up.
When you say you can clean it by leaving out in the sun, do you mean like 10 minutes or?
Yeah, so the good amount of time, obviously depending on the day and the time of year, but a good amount of time to leave it out in the sun would be about 10 minutes. That'll melt all the wax. And then once all the wax is melted off, you can take a paper towel with acetone and it'll just come right off. Yes.
Have you ever ruined a board before?
I've snapped 2 boards in half. It had nothing to do with my waxing. I just sucked at surfing at the time, so they snapped.
Do you like surfing in warm water or colder water usually?
Warm,
Why is that?
because it's not cold.
Well, that's fair.
Alright,